to professional-grade excellence on every level. See your Bayou GMC dealer.
Buying a house, starting a business, having a baby, preparing for retirement? My friends at Gulf Coast Bank and Trust are ready to help you realize your dreams and navigate these life-changing events. The difference at Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is that all their easy-to-use technology is backed by real people in our community who are invested in your success. No matter your goal, Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is here to make it happen. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
College baseball fans, don't miss Rouse's Market's big 4-day sale, now through Sunday. Split chicken breasts are value priced at only 99 cents a pound. Large pork spare ribs, 5 pounds or more, are on special just 99 cents a pound. 6-pack half liters of Coca-Cola products are sale priced 3 for $10. Grillin' and chillin' for the games this weekend? Rouse's is the place for beer, steaks, or party trays. Hurry, the sale ends Sunday. Gomaha at Rouse's.
Pipe and Steel Industrial has been growing locally in Denham Springs for 22 years because of their commitment to safety, quality, and consistency. Whether it's emergency fabrication or material procurement in a time crunch, their 24-hour fabrication shops support their specialty welding and turnaround work. Pipe and Steel Industrial is truly a one-stop shop. Kylie Sparks, Leon Batto, and his team take pride in serving Louisiana from their world-class facility and invite anyone to take a tour at pipeandsteelindustrial.com.
Dumpsters, they all look the same, and trash all smells the same. But the company that brings the dumpster to you to collect your residential or construction debris, well, they are not all the same. Southern Roll-Off stands above the rest because of their service to you. Call and tell them what you need, and the price you get on the phone will be the rate that you pay. There are no hidden fees after the fact based on weight, and that's the Southern Roll-Off difference. Nobody can beat their service. They have a 5-star rating on Google to show for it. Southern Roll-Off. Call 238-8000 or visit southernrolloff.com. 225-238-8000.
At Lewis Mechanical, no plumbing job's too big or too small, and we have the best technicians around. Lewis Mechanical specializes in both commercial and residential plumbing repairs.
Lewis Mechanical, keeping plumbing humming.
If you've been injured, it doesn't matter if you were hit by a big truck, a smart car, or anything in between. I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21-12671. Offices in Baton Rouge.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
First time since 2017.
Live from Omaha. Presented by Rev Business with Charles Hannegriff and Jimmy Ott.
From downtown Baton Rouge, Matt Moscona and Jimmy Ott. Charles Hannegriff is still in Omaha, and we'll check in with him here shortly. 2 hours away from first pitch, Game 1 of the College World Series Championship Series. Tigers and Gators. It is an all-SEC affair from Charles Schwab Stadium. Good afternoon, Matt Moscona alongside Jimmy Ott, Taylor Sharp, Grant Lanero with us as well in downtown Baton Rouge. And Cody Worsham of LSU Media just tweeted a bit ago a video from the lobby of the hotel. Check this out, Otter. Look at the people. Our buddy Hunt Palmer from our staff left this morning. He and his father went. Hunt tweeted a bit ago, I've been in Omaha for 6 hours. I can confirm there are Florida fans here. It just took me 6 hours to find them. You spent the last 9 days in Omaha. Set the stage for us what it was like being there up until this moment.
Well, it was the biggest crowd ever that I've seen for LSU for opening weekend. And I think the compressed schedule caught us all off guard a little bit. I mean, we're still trying to figure it out on the way up. If you go 1-1, or do you, for the first time ever, you have to play the next day? And you do. And so LSU, for the first time ever in the College World Series, had to play four consecutive days. And now it's a good thing because they're still alive, and that's what it took once they went 1-1. But Tennessee, Wake Forest, when they've got more rested pitching than you, is a heck of a run. And Tennessee was one of the teams that we talked about, along with Florida and Wake Forest, that might be able to come out of the losers bracket because those three staffs had the most depth but it was LSU who was viewed as very pitching thin that was able to do it. And they did it with their pitching, and not so much the the potent lineup that has done most of the damage for the year. But as far as the scene, and we expected this, it's time for me to come home after 8-9 days. Okay, I mean maybe in my younger years, but I go 8 days regardless, win, lose, or draw, and we schedule shows accordingly. But the the downtown Hilton.
You aren't in Vegas, brother.
Yes. I feel I'm in Vegas fatigue mode, though.
Got it. Understood.
But the Hilton was shared by both LSU and Wake Forest. So most of the teams were saying Marriott was Tennessee. The Embassy Suites on the corner of Howard and Old Market was Frog Ball. And so, you saw the video where they gave the Wake Forest team a standing ovation when they came in. But the Hilton is sort of adapted. They've got live entertainment before and after. They got DJs, and they've turned their lobby into the hotspot.
You better.
Whether it's Blatt, whether it's the old Mattress Factory, Baseball Village will add the downtown Hilton as a spot now. And so that's where a lot of people were hanging out, because after the game on Thursday, we went to we went to Blatt. We were in the Baseball Village a little bit, and it was crowded, but it was not like off the charts. Like everybody went to go to see the team.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to go greet the team as they came in. And now you turn up where the second wave of people have come in. Once they clinch, boom, here they come. And we'll see those aerial shots at Charles Schwab Field tonight.
It's pretty evident, right? So a stadium that seats 28,000, and I would venture a guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25,000.
He's 24.
Is going to be
Is
LA.
it 24 and up to 1,000 SROs? Because they had 958 over on SROs. SROs were that's where a lot of people.
24. Okay, so 24 is capacity. So
958 SROs for the what was it? The okay, gosh, what game was that? The second game. It was the second Wake Forest game.
Suffice to say, LSU fans are going to be an overwhelming majority today at Charles Schwab Field. There's the obvious question of rest versus consistency of playing. And that's one of the storylines that will play out here. Florida won each of their first 3 games. And the advantage that you get of winning your first 3 games and moving through the winner's bracket is you get to set up your pitching for the championship series. The flip side of that is, and Kevin O'Sullivan even said this on Friday, that there's a challenge with keeping his guys locked in. Actually, Grant, please find that cut for me. Kevin O'Sullivan on Friday at the pre-championship series. Do you have it? Find it. Now I want to come back to it. You have it? Yeah, hit it for me, please. This is Florida coach Kevin O'Sullivan talking about the challenges of keeping his team locked in.
I think from a bullpen standpoint, it's been helpful. But honestly, from my standpoint, it puts me a little bit on edge, honestly, because what you don't want your players to do with off days is lose their edge. And there have been plenty of teams that played on that Thursday game and went on to win this last series. So it's really our responsibility is to keep our players on edge, and that's going to be a huge message. The days off are fine, but you have to be able to turn the switch back on, because LSU's now coming off an incredible win last night, an emotional win that will help them, be at the highest level, as far as feeling good about themselves going into Saturday's game, right? And we've sat back and watched. So, yes, the days off have been good from a bullpen standpoint, but you also got to guard against losing that edge.
What do you see? I have a feeling of this. I'm curious your feeling where the larger advantage is, having the rest or being sharp.
No, you want the rest. And, I mean, yes, it's and from LSU's perspective, that's what they have, and they have momentum, and they have had a tougher path here. LSU was in the tougher bracket. And not only that, but, Oral Roberts and TCU were sort of probably 7th and 8th best teams, 6th, 7th, 8th. Best teams in it, and that was 2 of the 3 of Florida wins. The Florida path to this catbird seat, where they have all of their pitching rested, is unusual. I mean, they're all 50-50 games.
Yeah.
Down 2 in the 9th. Well, first of all, they're all one-run games, one-run wins.
6-5, 5-4, 3-2.
Down 2 in the 9th to Virginia. Oral Roberts left 5 on base in the 8th/9th, including the first and third with 2 outs in the ninth. And TCU hit the hardest ball of the tournament. It was just a straight center field that died at the wall, or they're going to extra innings. So the path is not nearly as dominant as we've seen in some others. Now, we've also seen some, first of all, 93 comes to mind, where LSU was extended more in their pitching. And back then, that Friday was not a neutral day. You played Long Beach State on Thursday and Friday and had to come right back up the next day and play Wichita State in the one-game national championship game. Well, the thing about that was it was unintentional, but Laxton got hit so hard Sunday night against Texas A&M that he didn't throw that many pitches, and he was rested and ready to go.
Worked out okay.
Against Travis Wyckoff, of Wichita State. But LSU was the underdog in the 93 game. They just blasted them 8-0 in that one. LSU is, in Florida was a higher national seed than LSU. They got a share of the SEC championship. And none of us really think that Florida was any better than LSU. We thought they were equals, coming in. Different. Florida built on their pitching depth, and LSU with that potent lineup. But no, let's not kid ourselves. You would still rather have all the. I mean, Matt, we're talking about not having Skeens.
That's
okay.
That is the point.
I mean,
because honestly, Jimmy, I think LSU's pitching is completely fine because you had a lot of innings eaters. You didn't have to use a lot of arms multiple times. Riley Cooper's now on 2 days rest. That's Riley Cooper on 2 days rest is incredible. Thatcher Hurd is going to have a full day's rest. You probably don't even need him today. Ideally,
I would not expect him.
No, ideally today you get a really good start from Floyd, who's on full rest or 4 days rest, big league rest, pitching on the 5th day. And then after that, you follow up with Guidry, who's he's thrown fewer than 30 pitches, and Cooper, who's rested. So you have a chance to get through today and tomorrow. And then there's going to be a lot of conversations about what you do with Skeens if you get to a Monday. And we probably share a similar thought on that.
It is a small percentage chance that you will see Skeens in this World Series finals.
Here's what I said. Tell me if you agree. Monday, 3-2, ninth inning, Skeens closes it.
Maybe.
I think that's your scenario.
But if it's 3-2, you've got good pitching, and maybe you got a guy that's got 6 up, 6 down in the 7th and 8th.
Maybe.
I mean, so you already brought him back on short rest. That would be bringing him back on short rest again. It would have to be something really, really almost like you've got a 2-run lead, and then they got first and third, nobody on.
Mm-hmm.
They got a threat brewing kind of deal. I don't know if I'll just starting an inning. We don't know. We will see. Of course he wants the ball.
Yeah.
He's a competitor. Okay? Of course he wants the ball, but still, we'll see. So Florida has not been as dominant as usual as teams get to the spot. And LSU, we're talking, listen, we cannot just gloss over that LSU has an uphill battle in this matchup with rested pitching without the best pitcher in the country available. They just got finished with one of the, part one of their uphill battle. And we talked about that when we were talking about if they beat Tennessee here and if they're going to come back with Skeens again, so we talked about that, or beat Wake Forest once, and they've already just finished half of the uphill battle.
One of the things we'll talk about, and we're going to head to Omaha here in just a few minutes. We'll visit with Charles Handegriff, who's there. We'll go to Charles Schwab Stadium. Our friend Michael Cobble from our news partner WBRZ is at the stadium. He's going to join us here in about 20 minutes. It is going to be Brandon Sproat tonight for Florida. He's their Friday night guy. He's their ace. LSU saw Sproat last year in Gainesville in Game 2. Tigers won that game 16-4. File this away. Sproat went 2 1/3, 6 runs on 4 hits, walked 2, only struck out 1. And it wasn't like it was Jacob Berry and a bunch of guys who aren't still here. Morgan homered in the first, doubled in the third. Thompson doubled in the first, singled in the third. Both those guys were 2 for 2 against Sproat. They got to him. Sproat will feature 3 pitches. The velo's good, but velo hasn't bothered LSU, Jimmy. It's pitchers who are extremely efficient at locating their off-speed stuff, like we saw with Rhett Lauder from Wake Forest. I like this matchup against Sproat. I think LSU's bats match up well against Sproat today in Game 1.
The wind and how the field is playing, the electric baseball has been a major theme. I was unable to go shoot the flags, the video this morning. But the first 6 games produced 14 home runs. 14 balls hit out of the park. That's not counting the inside the park home run by Oral Roberts. The next 8, only 4 home runs. It has shifted. The forecast calls for it to blow out to left field today at 10:15. Although multiple people at the stadium have told me that it's kind of a non-factor to this point. The flags are just kind of just laying down. So neutral is much different than what we've seen the last 4 days, at least Monday through Thursday, where it was pretty much, it just stopped all the power numbers in Charles Schwab Field.
In about 45 minutes, former Tiger pitcher, two-time national champion Chris Demui is going to be with us. We'll ask him that about pitching, especially in that park with those conditions. So we'll get to all of that. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. It is Eagle 98.1 Game Day simulcast here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Our coverage is presented by Rev Business. Take a quick opportunity to remind you as well, we'll have a postgame for you. T-Bob Hebert and I will be at Don Juan Cigar Bar for whiskey and wine, which we normally reserve for football season. But with all the interest around LSU baseball, we're excited to be there. So if you're looking for a place to watch the game, or if you want to hang out after, come join us at Don Juan in Town Center, or watch Whiskey and Wine tonight on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. To Omaha we go. Hanny joins us next. Stick around.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen.
Back to Eagle 98.1 Game Day, live from the College World Series in Omaha. Presented by Rev Business with Charles Hannegriff and Jimmy Ott.
I have a good perspective about that, you know, coming from the West in the Pac-12. I mean, it's bigger fields. That's a different style of play. Most of the parks in the SEC are launching pads, for lack of a better word. This is not here. And, you know, when we talk about building offense early on, very early on in the fall, you know, we want to be able to win any type of game. You know, pitchers duel like last night, one-run game, slugfest, winds blowing out. Small park, big field, doesn't matter. and to have a skill set to be able to do that. And there's some hallmarks in that skill set that travel, if you will, without sounding too football coachish, that things that we've done well all year long have helped us score some runs here, but there's a different nature to it, especially in the games that we've played with the wind blowing straight in, the size of the field, the quality of the pitching. And again, I think it's unique and probably appropriate that, our last three opponents, in my opinion, on this year's schedule will be three of the best pitching staffs in college baseball.
Jay Johnson, after his team punched their ticket to the College World Series final, LSU in Florida. We are an hour and 43 minutes away from first pitch. Matt Moscona, Jimmy Ott here with you, joined now by Charles Hannegriff, who is outside of Charles Schwab Field there in downtown Omaha. Hanny, how are you?
Doing great, guys. How are you?
Doing well, man. Give us a scene setter.
Well, it's a mob of LSU fans. Somebody asked me where the Florida fans are sitting, and I said Gainesville, apparently, because it's nothing but LSU fans here. I mean, there's a dab of blue here and orange here and there, but I'm outside of right field. I just sent you guys a shot of the flags, and that's kind of the story here. About an hour, maybe an hour and a half ago, they were still blowing in, kind of like they were Thursday. But the forecast finally kicked in. The forecast that we got for dropping temperatures, which didn't happen, overnight rain, which didn't happen, but the wind to blow out to right field, and that finally did happen. And I sent you guys a picture of the flag. It's whipping out. There's some storm clouds here. Nothing I think that's going to delay the game for very long, get us a whole lot of rain, but it's clouded up here a little bit. So that's really the story here early. Nothing but LSU fans, and the wind has turned around.
Who does that benefit most or affect most, positively or negatively, Handy, the wind blowing out?
Well, if LSU has left-handed pitching in the game, Florida lost games against Alabama, against Auburn, against Texas A&M, and one other team that I'm forgetting, and it was all left-handed pitching. Okay, so Florida offensively has got a lot of similarities to LSU. They hit a lot of home runs. They are top of the lineup. They may be a little bit more top of the lineup dependent than LSU is, and they're susceptible at times to elite left-handed pitching. Now, I don't know, how much left-handed pitching LSU is going to get in the game today. But if they do, this is a left-handed pitcher's deal where if you're going lefty-lefty, then you've got the lefty-lefty advantage. There's not that many balls that are likely to be lifted to right field. You're going lefty-righty. They're trying to pull the ball to where the wind's not blowing. So I guess it depends a lot on who's on the mound at any given time for LSU.
Hour and 40 minutes from first pitch, probably, 35 minutes or so before Jay Johnson makes an official who his starter will be. Do you bring back Floyd on 1 day short rest? Or do you save him at full rest tomorrow and go with somebody else? But we know one thing's for sure: Floyd starts today or tomorrow.
Yeah, and the problem. I love the idea of Floyd getting an extra day. The problem is who pitches today. If you brought a left-hander back, it almost has to be Riley Cooper, who threw 82 pitches over a 5-day period, but hasn't pitched since the middle of the week. I don't really think Nate Ackenhausen is available today. He threw 93 pitches 2 days ago. 3 days ago, excuse me. I really don't think that Griffin Herring is available for much more than spot duty today because he threw 4 1/3 innings in a game on Wednesday. So if you throw Riley Cooper, well, that's good. But then you probably put yourself in a position where you can only use him once. So that's a hell of a decision, I think, for Jay Johnson. My guess is he's going to go with Floyd. That's his best option as far as getting him deep into the game right now.
Andy, I would also suggest, do you really want to be going with if you lose today, you pitch backwards, say Floyd, do you really want to try to save your season when you got to face Waldrop from Florida?
Yeah, Waldrop is pitching better than any other Florida pitcher, so it's a heck of a decision. Johnson laid this thing out 5 days ago, excuse me. He said after they lost, I put it up on the board, exactly how we were going to do this to get to the finals, and it's worked so far. But again, all of these guys that have bailed you out from the bullpen, Herring, Ackenhausen, Cooper, it's not like they've been sitting around for a week and they're on full rest. They're all on short. I don't know how much more they can give you. Johnson only knows that for sure. It would be wonderful to have Floyd to go tomorrow on the full rest, but you got to get through today's game. So I don't know. And Thatcher Hurd, I wouldn't imagine is available today or tomorrow. That's only a Monday thing. So there's no easy answers for LSU when it comes to how do you piece together 18 innings over the next 2 days.
And that's where he comes in, where it's kind of the worst case scenario as far as how strained your pitching staff is. First, you started a day after Florida did. Okay, so you're compressed, and you played 2 more games than they did. Throw in a couple of extra innings the other night. And so not only is Skeens basically eliminated from the equation, but you've also strained, some of your other pitching, like Charlie talks about, if you wanted to save Floyd for his full rest.
I think it's easy. I think Floyd's going today and Ackenhausen is going tomorrow. And I think Hurd's available tomorrow.
With Cooper ready. Cooper's been outstanding, man.
In a best-case scenario today, in a best-case scenario today, you go Floyd, and if he's got a lead for you, you give the ball to Guidry, Cooper. I mean, that's a best-case scenario for today. And then you've got Ackenhausen. And, Hanny, I think Hurd is available tomorrow. He only threw 47 pitches behind Skeens. So 2 days rest for Hurd to be available for something, I think is realistic.
It's possible, Matt, and he did only throw 47 pitches in the Thursday game, but he threw 65 2 days before that on Tuesday. There's a compilation, like Riley Cooper only threw, was it 20 or 22 pitches on Wednesday? True, but he threw 60 pitches in the 2 games. It was 82 pitches, I believe, over 5 days.
Yeah.
These guys are not robots. There's an accumulation of pitches over a short period of time. We talked about this a lot with Skeens, okay? Can Skeens come back on 4 days rest and give you 120 great pitches? Yes. But if you ask him to come back a second time, is he more compromised?
Sure.
If Paul Skeens has to come in the game on Monday, how much can he give you on 3 days rest after 4 days rest, maybe 20? So, yes, if Hurd had only thrown the 47 on Thursday, I'd agree with you. But he threw 65 2 days before that, so I really don't know.
Charlie, not to correct you, but it was Monday, Thursday where Hurd threw 65-47.
So 2 days.
So
it's 112 pitches over a 4-day period, and now you're asking him to come back on 2 days rest after that. I mean, maybe he can do it. The adrenaline's flowing for sure, but it's not just their last outing for all of these LSU relievers. It's the accumulation of pitches over the course of the week.
Yeah, and it was Hurd Monday, Thursday. I'm sorry, 65-47. Floyd back in he threw 97 pitches. In that Monday start. So
yeah.
The one thing about that though, his stuff was really moving. It was, and I don't know if it was just Wake Forest being weak at the plate for most of the tournament, averaging 2 runs a game, or was it just where his stuff was at electric, where they were really overmatched.
Wake Forest ended the tournament sub 200 team batting average. I believe I don't have it in front of me, but I believe they finished somewhere in the 180 range as a team batting average, which is for that team, which averaged nearly 10 runs a game, is stunning. It was a compilation of a lot of things. It was good pitching from LSU. It was their guys didn't hit. It was the wind blowing in, all that stuff.
Their ballpark produced numbers, but which kind of makes you respect their hitting numbers out of Winston-Salem less. It makes you respect their pitching numbers even that much more, and they could throw. There's no doubt about that.
Handy, we got about a minute. Go ahead, sorry.
Did you say 186 for Wake Forest? I think that is exactly to the number what the top 5 in Florida's order are hitting in the College World Series. 186, it's 180-something. And their lineup is a little bit more top-heavy than what LSU's is. I'll tell you the guy I think today, man, this is set up for him. You got a right-handed starting pitcher. You got a wind blowing out to right field. Watch Braden Jobert, man. If he gets a hold of one, this is set up for him. If he could have woke up this morning and said, what pitcher do I want? I want a righty or a lefty. What do I want the wind doing? Jobert would have said, I want this day. So watch him.
Charlie, everything is, stacked up for Florida, but they have not been dominant. Flat out fortunate to be in this spot. All 3 of their games were 50-50. We know about the outcomes in, whether it was a two-run 2-run ninth-inning deficit in Game 1, or Roberts with the tying and go-ahead winning runs on base when they recorded the 27th out in the last one, and the hardest hit ball by anybody in the tournament in TCU that died in center field. Does that give you a little bit more confidence for LSU that Florida hasn't been as dominant as a usual team to be in this spot?
Yes, 4.7 runs per game over 3 games, 3 one-run victories, top of the lineup hitting what I just told you. And Sproat, he wasn't bad against Virginia, but he wasn't great either. He went 6 in the third and gave up, I believe, 3 runs. So he's hittable. LSU hit him last year. They gave up, you guys get the numbers in front of you, I believe it was 6 earned runs in his starts last year against LSU. So they have seen him, they know him, they've hit him before. Yes, it gives me a great deal of confidence that I think LSU can hit him. But, boys, I'm going to tell you, we haven't had a team score over 6 runs in the tournament yet. I'll be shocked if that streak doesn't end today, because the wind is whipping, and I think that they're ready to hit the ball today.
Charles Handegriff, co-host of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny. He's up there anchoring our coverage in Omaha, presented by Rev Business. Thanks, Hanny.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Matt Moscona and Jimmy Ott in downtown Baton Rouge. Michael Cobble is inside of Charles Schwab Field. We'll give you a boots on the ground view from the Chuck when we return here on Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Back to Eagle 98.1 Game Day, live from the College World Series in Omaha. Presented by Rev Business with Charles Handegriff and Jimmy Ott.
Rolling along, glad to have you with us here. Matt Moscona and Jimmy Ott. Charles Handegriff just joined us on the phone. We're sitting in downtown Baton Rouge, but let's hop back to Omaha, Nebraska. Our buddy Michael Cobble from our news partner at WBRZ Television is at Charles Schwab Field. Cobbs, how are you, man?
Doing well. Jimmy's with you there in BR?
Yes, sir. I made it back.
Man, he headed back the wrong time.
No, Cobble. I mean, just when I was my fuel was going on reserve, I got on the plane. Yes.
Well, hey, let me do this because I know I've been seeing you on Twitter, I believe, doing it every day. The wind update, right?
Yeah, man.
I didn't get to see you do it this morning, so I'll do it for you. It is blowing out. It is blowing right to left and a little bit out. So it's definitely turned around, and that is definitely going to be in play today. Just watching batting practice so far for Florida and LSU just getting started.
Hey, give us a uni watch. What's everybody wearing?
Well, I can't tell, I'll be honest with you. They're in warm-ups right now. Jay's in white pants. I haven't seen anybody that would tip the cap one way or the other. So, I don't know. Maybe you go back to gold. I don't know what they got.
That's interesting. I would have thought because Florida's going to be the home team today as the higher seed. I would have thought LSU would have gone with their road grays. That's what they wore with Floyd on Monday was the road grays, and typically what they wear with Floyd. But I guess we'll all wait and see. Maybe it will be gold. Hey, you've been to a lot of these things as well. Put some context around it from the improbability of coming back, and then also obviously the amount of LSU fans that are there right now.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee and Florida really didn't represent the SEC very well up here at all during this entire stay. And LSU has come out by the droves. That doesn't surprise anyone, right? But as far as the context in the game, I am impressed that they have done what they have done. And I think the story is, obviously the bullpen doing their job. And I don't think we can talk about that enough, really. Just the work that they've put in. And look, ballpark and the wind helps, right? But, again, you got to get guys that can get up there and throw strikes. And they did that for the most part. They started limiting the walks, which were an issue for this team. Certainly out of the bullpen, it's been an issue. And I think that's why LSU finds itself in this situation right now. Get up there, throw strikes. Your offense will eventually figure it out. And that's kind of what they've done. Now they're going to run into a really good Florida team. I think they've showed how good they are here in Omaha, the way they just swept right through the competition. Say what you will of the competition. I'll probably agree with whatever you said about most of it. But Florida can hit, and they're a lot like LSU. They're big, strong dudes that can work the bat. And the problem is they're just a little bit fresher than LSU right now. So it'll be an interesting game. One of the things we've talked a lot about is momentum versus rust, or rust versus rest, however you want to look at it. Tired versus wired, whatever it is. It'll be interesting to see how this one starts. Of course, if you can't get up for the national championship series, then what the heck are you doing? But LSU feels good about where they're at. They certainly feel like they have some juice, coming off of that game that Jay Johnson talked about as well. You got to put that away, and you got to play for today.
I noticed just a bit ago, you tweeted a video of LSU getting off the bus and dapping up their bus driver. One of the cool kind of human interest stories of this College World Series as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, and they're everywhere, right? Like, we can't get to all of them. I know the Baton Rouge media's been doing a good job of getting you a lot of them, but that dude has been everywhere, and I've always seen him do that, And finally, I said to Matt Trent, who's with me on the trip, I was like, we got to do that story if LSU wins. But then they went to losers bracket, and we just, it was all about the game that they had to play, survive, and advance. And so I wanted to make sure Willie got a little love there. And, big energy guy, big energy giver, and I think the Tigers certainly love it too.
Michael, you talk about these two teams mirror each other, and I think you go back, you may have heard it mentioned before, Earl Weaver for baseball, stick around and wait for the 3-run homer, the old Orioles manager back in the like the 70s. But yeah, that's exactly what they do. You're not going to see a whole lot of stolen base attempts. You're not going to see a whole lot of hit and runs and things like that. Sit around, because when they do get a hold of one, I mean, it's no doubters for these teams. Both possess serious home run threat. And I think that's even more exaggerated because the wind has shifted, finally.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Kevin O'Sullivan talked about that, and it's something that we were certainly well-versed in working with Paul Maneri all those years. The way you play to get to Omaha versus the way you have to play once you get to Omaha was very different when they built the new ballpark. And, it was like night and day difference. You had all these SEC teams that could match it. And then you got here, and all that was neutered, So I think it'll play a little bit more true. It'll play a little bit more fitting, right, that we have two SEC teams here, two SEC power hitting teams too. I mean, I'm just watching Hayden mash them out. I'm watching Bear mash them out. I'm like, it's definitely got some run today, and I think you're going to see 2-3 of them get out of the ballpark.
Hey, we do have a lineup that's actually just been posted. It is going to be Ty Floyd for LSU. This is confirmed. And they're also going to stick with Alex Milazzo behind the plate and batting ninth for LSU. So that is now confirmed there at TD Ameritrade, or at TD Ameritrade, at Charles Schwab Field.
You could ask me. I could have confirmed it for you. I'm looking at the lineup in the dugout.
I'm sorry. I just saw it on Twitter. So give me a reaction.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I was a little – so I'll just tell you, every day we get to the ballpark, we're always kind of looking to see who's here, right? Sometimes they'll bring the pitchers by early. But I saw Javen Coleman get off the bus, and it made me think that he might be an option today just because you're in a got-to-have-it game tomorrow, right? And I don't know what Ty looks like on short rest. But, you know, I thought that might be a play. So I was kind of mulling it over. Then I saw the lineup, saw what they were doing. And running with it, you know, you like it. You hope that he has the same kind of stuff that Skeens has. And I'll tell you this: I talked to Skeens yesterday just here at practice, and you know, we talked about how good he felt. He said, really, it's been, you know, just the way they've used them all year long in their recovery. You know, Jay talks about it, but like I really do think that it's different right now as opposed to the way that maybe we thought about LSU baseball and certainly have viewed LSU baseball in the past. It's not overused, you know, and the way they treat these guys during their off days and what they do with them to rehab, I think it makes things like this possible. So hopefully Ty will have a great outing and he'll feel good enough to do that. I think it's certainly in play, right?
You know, we even with the conversation with Hunt Palmer earlier before it started, and he thought they were going to get 40 home runs this year with the, you know,
in the whole series,
the juice baseball.
There was 28 last year.
Yeah, we're at 18 right now.
Yeah, you ain't getting to 40.
No. But this is
Florida has 7 of them, right? Florida has 7 of the 18, I think.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So 14 in the first 3 days. You know, 4 more in the
and then they turn the lights out.
Following 4 days. So first time we've seen a team have to play 4 straight days in a tournament. I think off the top of my head, this deep into the tournament, whether you're going into the 1-game national championship game or now the 3-game series where no team has scored more than 6 runs, I'm like Hanny where that wind shift, you're going to have some more scoring tonight. You're going to have some balls leave the park more, and it's something that mentally also that Floyd and also Florida's pitching is going to have to handle and say, you know, if you're in a 4-3 game in the 4th inning here, it's not the worst thing in the world as opposed to if that was the case on Wednesday or something.
And what have we said about Ty Floyd all season, right? He's a guy that is going to give up something, but he's going to come back and battle, right? And so, you know, limit the damage, you know, is always been kind of the message, and he's been great at that. And so maybe you have the right mental guy on the mound as well, if that's the case.
You think so, Michael? You think he can handle things like skiing? You think he handled the squeeze strike zone last time out?
No, but I mean that jumped up on him. I'm talking about things like of a baseball nature that maybe, you know, we've seen him do it. We've seen him give up runs early, but then figure it out and give you 5.
I got you.
The Arkansas game was the best example of that. He gave up a big bomb.
He struck. Yeah. It looked like he was going to have an early outing, and he settled down really nicely.
It was a 30-pitch first inning, and then he got you into the 6th. So he has settled in spots. But you're right. Look, the unwind. There's 2 instances this year with Ty Floyd where he's unwound. One was against Auburn. If you remember, there was the weird thing with the balks and everything, and it delayed. It completely threw him off his game. He had 9 strikeouts through 3 1/3 at that point. He'd struck out, I think, 9 of the 10 outs at that point. And then on Monday, he had 10 strikeouts through 5 innings. Of the 15 outs, 10 were strike. He was cruising, and then the 6th inning happened where he got squeezed. All that conversation. He walks the bases loaded in that inning. He's out of the game. So
Doug Thompson visited with us at Barrett's on Tuesday, along with his Uber driver, and he said that he thought it was the best stuff of the season for Floyd.
He was sensational.
He was absolutely motoring. Hey, Jimmy, before we let you go, what's the line on this one? I'm curious how much it's actually changed.
Florida in game 1 is about -125, give or take, and basically the series is about the same thing. And basically pick for the series or makes 120. Without Skeens, that's a little bit lighter than I anticipated. It was a clear pick when I was on with Matt yesterday. I thought it would go up. It has gone up, but not quite as much as I would think. LSU's been a public team. Their branding, they've played them all season long from jump.
The over-under is what?
9.5. 9.5. That is.
So it's really in play today. Like, I mean, I've noticed, obviously the under's been just crushing it, right? But
right.
Yeah, that's and I'm gonna take you over just looking at this.
I'm on it.
There you go. All right.
12-2 to the under so far, but no, that's keeping it honest today with the shift in win. That's a big deal.
He is Michael Cobble from WBRZ Television. Check out his coverage along with Matt Trent on WBRZ Channel 2 here in Baton Rouge. Thanks, Cobbs.
Thanks, guys. Check out that kid screaming his lungs out. Did you see that video?
I did. He's on Twitter at Cobble if you want to go check it out. CAUBLE. Thanks, Cobbs.
See you guys.
What is that?
Take care.
He's got a video. Well, I'll pull it up here. So Cobble has a video that he posted on his Twitter of it's just a young fan who he's got like standing at a barricade or outside the hotel, and your little dude is just absolutely like hollering. Here it is. Wilds Caco from Shreveport, fired up for there it is. There he is. He is fired up, man. He is just like he is letting them lungs go, bro. He's letting them fly. Oh man. Anyway, all right.
Well, the over under was 87.5 on how much longer to his parents and drive up.
It's Eagle 98.1 game day. Matt Moscona and Jimmy Ott. When we come back, I do want to talk a little bit about these two offenses and how that may be in play tonight. Two of the best, if not the two best offenses in the Southeastern Conference this year. Stay with us here on Eagle 98.1 game day.
Bayou Ford has up to $7,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down the
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Back to Eagle 98.1 Game Day, live from the College World Series in Omaha. Presented by Rev Business with Charles Hannegriff and Jimmy Ott.
Wyatt Langford, great player. I mean, I don't know how much else to say it. I mean, somebody's going to pay him a lot of money, as they should. And I think, like Dylan, like Paul, and a couple other guys on their roster, it'll be a short arc in terms of minor league baseball to the big leagues. He's a very well-built player.
Jay Johnson talking about Florida's big bat, Wyatt Langford, who some think may challenge to be the number 1 overall pick in next month's draft, along with Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens. You'll see Langford there tonight. He'll wear number 36, and boy, is he a big bat. Jimmy, the odd thing, though, about this Florida offense, and Florida and LSU have all season long have been the best offenses in the SEC. If you go statistically, batting average, this LSU was 1, Florida was 3. Slugging, LSU 1, Florida 2. On base, LSU 1, Florida's a little lower, but runs, LSU 1, Florida 2. Hits, LSU 1, Florida 2. RBI, LSU 1, Florida 2.
This is overall a conference.
SEC, yeah, overall, but in SEC stats. Doubles, they're tied for first. Triples, Florida 1, LSU 2. Homers, LSU 1, Florida 2. You get my point. Like, these are the best offenses in the league all season long, and they are mirror images of each other and what they try to do. And just like LSU has Cruz and White, their 2 big bats, Florida's 2 big bats are Langford and Caglione. Langford in this College World Series is 1 for 11. Caglione in this College World Series is 1 for 12. It's odd that it's played this way, but similar to what we just saw with Kurtz and Wilkin from Wake Forest. They're 2 big bats in the middle, which had 24 and 31 homers, respectively. The 2 best bats from Florida just haven't hit in the College World Series. And if you're LSU, it is so imperative you keep that going. You've got to keep those 2 guys in particular in the park. Caglione had 31 homers this year.
Well, the opening night, when the wind was sort of neutral, for the first couple of days, I mean, they hit some monster shots in the 9th inning to tie and win the game against Virginia. I mean, the one that was up the left center to sort of the walkway by the door storage or whatever it is. I mean, that was the farthest ball ever hit in TD Ameritrade / Charles Schwab Field. Yeah. So no, they've got the power, and we know that some of Tommy White's balls or Cruz and some others are really, can really go a long distance as well. We also talked about the home runs that LSU hit in the Super Regional, and we're like, I don't know how many of those minus White's would get out in this park. But I think with the wind shift, I think we are going to see, some more power surge by both of these teams. But the other thing about both of these teams, it's sort of inconsistent. It's not like these constant threats, people on base. It comes in droves, and sort of like LSU's, what game was it, Matt? Game 2? Wednesday game against Wake Forest. So it was the 5-run inning. Mm-hmm. They're potentially
against Tennessee.
Oh gosh, I thought it was Wake Forest where they were down 2-0 and they scored like 4 or 5 runs.
Oh, when Cade Beloso homered. Yes, it was the 4 spot. Cade hit the 3-run. They scored the run on third on the wild pitch, and then Cade hit the 3-run homer. Yeah, the third inning. Yes,
that to me is how both teams, and watching Florida in the SEC tournament and also their regional and super regional play, they have not been constant threats, but they can put up that crooked number at any point. Yeah. 3, 4, 5 runs because it's that explosive pot. Blair Barbier told us about LSU's lineup. What he likes is they've got little pockets of power all throughout. And so it can get you from, who did Charlie mention today? Jobert. So they really do mirror each other in a lot of different ways. There's no question about that.
LSU throughout this year has really hit 1 through 9. Florida's, I think we've mentioned, is a little more top heavy. The one thing that we're going to learn, though, is a lot about this Florida team because I haven't seen him. Kevin O'Sullivan talked about this in the pre-finals press conference. Kevin O'Sullivan talked about scouting a team in the league that you didn't play.
Yeah, obviously there's some similarities, but we haven't played them, obviously, in a year since last year. But the scouting report questions that have been asked, we really haven't done a whole lot yet. Literally in the hotel, you've got your bracket, you have TCU, you have Oral Roberts, you have Virginia, and then over here, literally, you have LSU from last year's notes and 3 empty folders because we didn't know who we were going to play and waste time or energy on something that might not happen. So we'll get together as a staff after we practice today and start going over all the things that we need to go over. But at the end of the day, we are who we are, and we're going to focus on what we need to do from our side to be successful. Sure, there's going to be some things that we're going to have to, prepare for, but we'll spend some time later on today with them.
You want to know how different it is from a year ago? You know who started the Friday night game against Florida a year ago for LSU?
I don't know.
They went Blake Money, Bryce Collins.
Wow.
And then Mikhail Hilliard started game 2, and that was the 16-4 win where they beat Brandon Sprode, who's going to go tonight. And then game 3 for the Tigers was Dutton, followed by Grant Taylor. So a dramatically different look on the mound for LSU and for Florida by that stretch as well.
I have some contacts at Clemson, and O'Sullivan was part of that Jack Leggett staff who they just put in their Ring of Honor over there. And so O'Sullivan was on the staff. Tim Corbin was on that staff for Vanderbilt.
Staff.
Eric Bakich, who got Michigan one game away from winning, is now just finished his first year at Clemson. Yeah. And make no mistake, Kevin O'Sullivan wanted this job very, very badly. And maybe there was a little bit of the deal that went on, but personally, that may have affected his candidacy for the job. He's certainly qualified with his coaching resume.
Sure.
We know that. I mean, he and O'Connor are the only 2 of the 8 coaches participating in Omaha this year with national championships. So the other thing is that he told some contacts of mine this is the first time with the NIL being a factor in recruiting. He's never had a problem recruiting in Florida. 98% of his roster is in-state. I mean, it's just loaded with prospects, and they're always going to have talented arms. It seems like more than anybody. But he thinks that NIL is more of a distraction than what it's worth. Very dislike, LSU, who is, using it as a resource, as an asset. We take a look. How many LSU fans? Does LSU care about winning these games more, a little bit more than Florida?
Yeah.
So they're fans and that own businesses or whatever, or individually that are going to create more of an NIL budget. But I thought it was interesting that it was close, and he wanted it badly. But there's different approaches at different schools. They finally built, a new ballpark in Florida, but they set records. Finally, they put 4,500 or 5,500, whatever it was, state of Florida records for their super regional games in Gainesville. But it's just not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same as okay, they're in a championship series. Let's go on. Let's catch the first 2 games. We know their schedule, like the 8,000 to 10,000 LSU fans did. On the first weekend. I was there, maybe 500
Florida fans, friends and family, maybe a few diehard sort of thing.
And that's like what Wake Forest, kind of had, and
they ain't buying many Jello shots.
It looks like they're one little pocket where they have their reserve seats.
Yeah,
and the kind of the upper part of the lower section. So no, it's not a whole lot, and it's never been that way for them.
Yeah. Former Tiger pitcher, 2-time national champion Chris Demouy is going to be with us in about 5 minutes. Excited to get Demoui's perspective. I know he was in Omaha with you all at the beginning part of the series, so he does a great LSU baseball podcast, the 60 feet 6 inch LSU baseball podcast. You can get that wherever you get your pods. So I do want to talk to him a little bit more about the pitching side of thing. What is interesting specifically, Jimmy, is a lot of people will try to draw comparisons with this team in 2017, obviously because you have a rematch of LSU and Florida in the national championship series. What I would say, and
also your pitching is strained. You've had to play more games to get here. Yeah,
I would also. Florida wasn't 3-0 in that series either, and you remember they've taken away 2 rest days, so it's very different. But specifically with Florida's team, remember that Florida rotation was
Singer and Faedo.
You went Faedo, Singer, Jackson Coher. You had 3 first-rounders in Florida's rotation. As good as LSU was with Lang and Poche, remember you didn't even get to Lang. You started with a bullpen day where Russell Reynolds took the ball to start and you try to piece it together. And then you went Poche in game 2. And if you got to game 3, you had Lang waiting. Point is, Florida had their rotation set up like they do here. Florida's rotation then was dramatically better than this Florida rotation. But my one big hesitation, and we'll be back here tomorrow regardless at noon getting you ready for game 2. Jimmy, I think tomorrow, if you're LSU, you got to take this game. You have to be all in to win today. Because I don't want my season hanging in the balance with Hurston Waldrop on the mound for Florida tomorrow. That's the kid from Southern Miss who last year handcuffed LSU into the 7th. Now, LSU won that game in 10. Remember, they had the late explosion in Hattiesburg, and they came back and won that game. But I don't want to have to break through against Waldrop to try to save my season tomorrow.
No, he's been outstanding, and that's where the bigger resource program just came and poached. One from Southern Miss, and I mean, and think about them.
I think his
Southern
girlfriend's at Florida too, by the way.
There you go.
That had something to do with it.
But I mean, he tells people close. I know people that have tried to offer money, and it's not the NIL, but it's for other reasons. But still, it's playing in a stronger conference.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. But no, those were mature Singer and Faedo.
Yes.
Those guys weren't always, we knew their live arm, but that was going into that draft. They were drafted by the Tigers and the Royals, a couple of days before that championship series. We knew where they had been drafted already. So they were in their junior years, and they were really, really good. But this is a good pitch. Yeah, I think maybe close to as talented, but not as mature. But Waldrop, that's a different story. We've seen him do it. I mean, he's tough.
He is Jimmy Otta, Matt Moscona. We're glad to have you aboard with us here on Eagle 98.1 Game Day. We are 1 hour and 2 minutes away from first pitch. The LSU Sports Radio Network pregame show starting in 32 minutes, and we're going to hand it right off to Chris Blair, Doug Thompson, and the boys there in Omaha here on Eagle 98.1. We appreciate everybody listening also on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and all those of you watching us on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Significant number. We appreciate it. Do us a favor, please smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe up to the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. As soon as the game goes final, we'll be back streaming on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel with myself, T-Bob Bear. We'll be at Don Juan Cigar Bar for a post-game whiskey and wine. We'll hope to see a lot of you there and hopefully celebrate a Tiger win. Well, now I got a break. Come back, talk to two-time national champ Chris Demui. That's next here on Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you can run the slalom. The cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clashing, chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like it's Wall Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years
Back to Eagle 98.1 Game Day, live from the College World Series in Omaha. Presented by Rev Business with Charles Hannegriff and Jimmy Ott.
Glad to have you back with us here from downtown Baton Rouge. Matt Moscona and Jimmy Ott here on Eagle 98.1 Game Day, presented by Rev Business. All of our coverage from Omaha all week long been presented by our friends at Rev Business, and we greatly appreciate them for making this happen. The Otters just back from 9 days in Omaha. We're gonna get our guy a little rest tonight. But while you were up
nice to show up at 2 a.m. at the airport. Your bag's not here. Still in Dallas.
Your son's not there either?
Yeah. No son, no baggage. Just another day at the park at the outhouse.
Chris Demou, we caught up with you guys up in Omaha a couple of times while you were over there last weekend. And Demou's good enough to join us with us here. Two-time national champion, 96, 97. And Demou, thanks for the time. How are you?
Doing good, Scott. How you doing?
Really well. Do you realize if the Tigers win 2 games here, Demou, something is going to happen in LSU baseball history that has literally never happened?
I have no idea what it is. No, what you got?
LSU will win a national championship in baseball without a Catholic High Bear on the team.
Nah.
You realize that?
I did not know that. Yeah, I was lucky enough to play with about 6 of my teammates, so we definitely had our fill over there, but I was not aware of that.
Well, we had, of course, Austin Nola back in 2009. We can go through the years, man. You want to talk about Coogan, Lanier? I mean, there's a long list of them there, Demou, long list of them, but I guess that's
there was like 7 on my team, so I know.
Hey, man, Jimmy and I were talking about, obviously, and we want to lean into your experience here, especially as a guy that was primarily a reliever, what they're asking these guys to do right now, what they had to do coming out of the losers bracket, right? Just give me, before we go into maybe some specifics about certain people, give me your overall feeling of where the staff is right now going into this championship series.
I think they're in a good spot. I mean, relatively, it seems like everybody knows what's expected of them. In terms of, I 100% agree with Floyd tonight. To me, that was a no-brainer. And then I think tomorrow they're going to go with one of the lefties, whoever doesn't throw tonight. And maybe even a situation where you see Guidry come in before Cooper or Ackenhausen, whoever needs to close it down. But at least they've been getting some rest, right? 1 or 2 days off. And so some of these guys like Cooper, they have rubber arms. And to me, as long as they throw 40 or less, in my opinion, what I used to feel good with, 40, 45 or less, I could throw the next day. It would be great, but if you gave me a day off, I was good to go out there for another 2 or so. They know how to work themselves in the pen in terms of not burning themselves out to where they get up, they get down, they get hot, they get cold. So they know at this time of year how loose they need to be to where they just don't blow themselves out between outings.
Demou, a big picture question. We're focused so much on what they're doing day in and day out at the College World Series, but if I ask a big picture question, so for example, Ackenhausen, he was great on Tuesday. He's only thrown 28 innings all year. Griffin Herron's only thrown 34 innings all year. If I look at a guy like I'm looking for Gavin Guidry, he's thrown 25 innings all year. Does the lack of cumulative effect throughout the season give them more here? So you wouldn't look necessarily at pitch count or rest as much at this point because they haven't thrown as many innings throughout the year?
Maybe. I don't know about that. I'm trying to think, like in 97, I think I ended the year with 73 innings. So I was kind of, for some of you younger listeners, I was like Cooper, really very similar to Cooper. And I felt fine in Omaha. I think, you're throwing off so much adrenaline every time you go into these games. And, depending on the age of these guys, like Cooper or Floyd or guys like this, to where this may be your last outing, for, as an LSU Tiger, that's always in the back of your mind. So you're going to give it everything you have. That kind of pulls you through a little more than lack of innings, I would say, or just wear and tear right now. You just got to, even if you're sore a little bit, you just got to suck it up and do it for your brothers. I think the young guys may have a little more juice left in their arm. Yeah, maybe their legs aren't quite as tired, but they may feel different things on the mound than Cooper, right? Herring and Guidry may feel a lot of anxiety and adrenaline. With Cooper, it's just another day out, another stroll on the mound in Omaha. So a lot of things go into it, but I think at this time of year, you got 4 days left. Look, you're just going to empty the tank every outing and then just realize you have the whole summer or the rest of your career to just relax and your arm can rest up.
So keep in mind that Skeens threw 26 more pitches than Floyd in his start, and coming back on the same amount of rest on 4-day start. So he's your starter today. Guidry with 1 pitch on Saturday, 20 on Wednesday. He's available. Cooper was 22 on Saturday, 40 on Tuesday, and 20 on Wednesday. Is he available tonight, Chris?
Yeah, I think so. I think probably in a 2-inning stint. That's why I definitely think it's going to be probably Cooper over in Ackenhausen. And like I've listened to y'all show, Ackenhausen probably gets a start tomorrow. But that's why maybe I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Guidry early to try to get 2 out of him and maybe try to save Coop for the very end, just because I know Florida's got some lefties, right? Caglione and Riopelle and somebody at the bottom of the order, but they're not like Tennessee or Wake where they're rolling out 4 or 5 guys. So I think Guidry's good to go. Cooper's good to go. I would try to keep him under 40 pitches, and then I think Floyd, we were there, Jimmy. I mean, and Matt, you saw it. His first 5 innings were absolutely unreal. I mean, he just blew fastballs by the Wake Forest hitters, and I was like looking at my son saying, good Lord, he is on a heater tonight. And then the 6th inning happened. So you just, look, if he can get you through the 5th into the 6th, I think as any LSU fan right now would take it and be happy with that.
Yeah, I know you're dealing with, it's his turn. He's their number 2. But it also has to give you confidence in, how he's going to handle the stage tonight, because he handled it just fine. That was billed as, and I thought I was wrong, but whoever won that Monday night game, that marble game in this bracket, I thought was going to win the whole thing.
Oh,
and he brought it. And we've seen this stage, Chris, where it does strange things to stars, and some role players really, players will rise or, sink as far as their level of play on the biggest stage that they face. And he was outstanding as far as that concerns. Same amount of rest. Is it any different on what you expect as far as durability, stamina, or level of effectiveness with stuff from Skeens to Floyd?
No, I don't think so. I think because he relies on his fastball so much. We've seen his breaking ball and his changeup kind of appear different times throughout the year in terms of their effectiveness. Before I heard Charlie give the win report, I put out there on Twitter, I thought Floyd's changeup, I just had a feeling his changeup was really going to play tonight. But now with the wind kind of shifting, I don't know if that's a big of a factor, right? Because, you leave a changeup up, you're getting a fresh ball from the umpire, especially with the power that Florida has. So maybe his breaking ball plays a little more tonight. But, Jimmy, I think in terms of rest and how they prep these guys, and y'all alluded to it earlier in the show, I think they're ready to go. And I'm sure he's good to go for 80 to 100 pitches.
Hey, Demu, how does the wind blowing out, or does the wind blowing out change any strategy approach on the mound tonight?
That's a great question. When I was there, the wind was blowing in, for that first Wake Forest game, and it was noticeable, right? All the outfielders shift in. There's when the wind blows in over there, nothing is getting out unless the wind just stops all of a sudden. It's just a monster bomb. So I think when the wind's blowing in as a pitcher, I'm going to be more aggressive in the zone. Not so much worried about mistakes, because even if you catch it, I have athletic outfielders that can go get the ball. Cruz, Pearson, Joe Bear. So to me, as a mindset, I'm going to be really, really aggressive with the wind blowing out. You may see guys nibble a little bit more with 0-2 counts or 2-strike counts, and that's been a bugaboo for Floyd this year, to where he really drives up his pitch count when he tends to nibble a lot. So you're risk averse, I would say, with the wind blowing out at this park and the power that these two teams have. As y'all mentioned, it's 2 of the best hitting teams in the country. So I don't know if it changes the plan. I think the execution has to be sharper.
Floyd has allowed 15 homers on the year. That's the most on the staff.
Ackenhausen talked about that. He mentioned the win in his soundbite and confidence in the same sentence, when he talked about it. So, they've noticed, and that's been, for how long this season where the LSU pitchers did not challenge, the strike zone, attack the strike zone. So maybe it has something to do with it, going in, changing approach, playing in a pitching-friendly park in the conference tournament, where they were, could start to gain a little bit more. Now, Alec Box is Alec Box. It's more hitting friendly than the Hoover Met or Charles Schwab Field. But I think they gained something, sort of that mid-stretch or late-stretch adjustment on just how aggressive and attack. Let them hit it out the park, man. Just quit with the amount of free passes.
Yeah, and you've even seen it play here, right? Berman always used to say, leadoff walks, they score, I think, like 60% of the time or something. So leadoff walks are an absolute killer. Just a leadoff walk, a pass ball or a bunt and a single, and then that's a run on the board, especially here in Omaha with the gaps being so big and the outfielders playing a little further back. So I just think they had I don't know if Wes Johnson, those guys had a meeting and say, look, whatever we're doing right now is just not working after the Mississippi State series. But you just saw them pound the zone and become more aggressive. And that's one of the things you cannot be as a college pitcher. You cannot be afraid to get hit. Now, obviously, you have to pick your situations, right? Bases loaded. I'm not saying you don't pitch differently, but in a mindset, you just can't be afraid to get hit, especially in the SEC. Look, everybody's going to get hit. So just be aggressive and try to force some early contact and just pound the zone. And, like I've told y'all before, and y'all said it, right? The best hitters in the country get out, right? Tommy Tanks is hitting 360. So, 65% of the time he's going to get out. And you've seen that with struggles, as y'all mentioned, with Florida's top of their lineup in the series, So push comes to shove, just throw it down the middle and try to stay around the knees and let your defense play.
Yeah, I'm watching a lot of postseason play. It seems like the big inning is always with a bunch of walks. Yes. And then we've also seen a lot of times, and even in Omaha, where it walks or you can't feel the bunt. I mean, the big error. This is as clean as a World Series I've seen. There are not a whole lot of errors, misplayed balls. If anything, the most highlighted fielding plays are the Monday night game where the third baseman makes a play to get Morgan at home, and then Morgan flipping the script in the top of the eighth on Thursday night's game. It's been a real clean World Series, and that's not usually the case.
And to Demui's point, the play in the eighth inning at the plate, that was a leadoff walk that reached third base. Yeah. That nearly was the breakthrough run. Yeah. Hey, Demu, before you go, we're a little short on time. Give me a thought on Florida's ace, Brandon Sproat, who's going to get the ball tonight.
He's a dude, man. He's 97 to 100, and his ball moves all over the place. Very good breaking ball. And he throws a ton of changeups, meaning probably about 30% changeups, and a lot of right-on-right changeups, meaning he's right-handed. He will throw a lot of changeups to the righties. I went back and watched a ton of Florida highlights. And he can easily go 110 pitches. Like, they will leave him out there for a long time. And but he can walk guys, and he can give up the long ball too. So, it just may take LSU a while to figure him out. I know they've seen him before, but, just watch out for his changeup tonight. Maybe he leaves a couple up, and LSU can get some up in that win. But he's a dude. He's really, really good.
He is former Tiger Chris Demui, two-time national champ, host of the 60 Feet 6-Inch LSU Baseball podcast. Subscribe up wherever you get your podcast. Follow him on Twitter as well. Great stuff as always. Thanks, Demu.
All right, thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Okay, man. He's right on Sproat. The changeup for Sproat is the difference maker. He'll pop the radar gun, but when he has you guessing,
it's his out pitch, 2 strikes.
When he's got the changeup working, that's the problem. So see if the Tigers, if they're hunting fastballs and they can connect. We've seen it in 97 to 100 hadn't bothered this team. They can catch velocity.
Right.
The off speed stuff when they're guessing it out in front, seeking a heater has been the problem.
And we'll see if one of these balls really flies out. Sort of and that's the thing, sort of that solo home run especially. You always see, okay, you gave up one run, big deal. Yeah. Just go back and pitch. No, but does it turn into 2 more walks after that? Does it start turning into where you're nibbling too much? Does it turn into a big inning? So I want to see, because I expect a couple balls to leave in a big way where it can unnerve a pitcher. I want to see how they follow up after they give up the home run.
I agree with you. He's Jimmy Ott. I'm Matt Moscona. We're 45 minutes away from first pitch, 15 minutes away from handing it off to Chris Blair, Doug Thompson, and the LSU Sports Radio Network. Stay with us. We'll give you a pick here on Game 1 on Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special. Grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving.
Back to Eagle 98.1 Game Day, live from the College World Series in Omaha. Presented by Rev Business with Charles Hannegriff and Jimmy Ott.
Down the stretch we come. Matt Moscona, Jimmy Ott, we're glad to have you with us here on this College World Series Saturday, the championship series, LSU and Florida game 1, 41 minutes away from the broadcast. We will hand it off to Chris Blair, Doug Thompson here, in about 11 minutes from right now. The guys will be ready to go there at Charles Schwab Field.
Blair Thompson, an Uber driver, right?
So Jimmy was at a restaurant.
Barrett's Barleycorn, not just
Barrett's.
any.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know where you are because you're at Barrett's, and Doug came in with his sons and brought the Uber driver in. Hey, come have lunch with us.
I think we had an interesting run on Uber drivers in Omaha. They were very aggressive and very friendly, and then kind of pushed that personal space just
an aggressive
a little bit.
Uber scene in Omaha.
Yeah, but they were an inclusive type of approach, and so. And I thought, okay, the Uber driver would go to the bar and sit by himself with the other fan. It was packed, and, Doug and his two kids would, no, it was 4-top, including the Uber driver. So all one big family, baby.
Get a Cuban sandwich. I got you covered. All right, Otter, give me a thought on tonight's ballgame.
I can't stress enough how important this game 1 is. I mean, it's I think this is the pivotal game. Yeah, we talked about, I was wrong already with the marble game with Wake Forest being in this tougher bracket on Monday night. The winner of that one would win it all. That was not the case. LSU found a way to patchwork their pitching together and get it to a Thursday game where Skeens can kind of put them in position to win and basically win it for them. Ty Floyd is your number 2, and really who has been your number 3 all year? It's been tough. Cooper, forget about the physique. Forget about the lack of stuff. Forget about his lack of draft stock. He is a hell of a college pitcher. So, in some way he can do it, but he can't, give you 7 innings. But he can give you 3 or 4, and I think very effective. He's done that. He's proven, and he's also proven on this stage is a big thing. But the Floyd has to get deep into this game, and he was on his way until the pitch, the strike zone, and it was really tight. I mean, it was extremely tight. We know about the ESPN pitch graphs and all that stuff, and we could talk about whether they're exaggerated or not. But Floyd, we knew one thing. He was going to start either today or tomorrow, just which one it would be. Skeens handled the 4 days rest just fine after, 30 pitches more than Floyd threw with his 4 days rest. So trying to keep the momentum going. There is a home field advantage. There's no doubt about that. This team does have that was a tough road, man, against some deep pitching staffs in Tennessee and Wake Forest to win 3 in a row. So here they are. And after the first team to play 4 consecutive days, 1 day off, and man, they're right back at it. And Florida's got it all. But if this is this is the most favorable of the 3. If it does go 3 matchups for LSU, and I can't stress how important this to get this one and then kind of steal one of the next 2.
LSU staff in 5 games has allowed 8 runs.
Wow.
5 games of allowed 8 runs against Tennessee, which Tennessee's offense this year wasn't Tennessee's offense a year ago. But Wake Forest
rebuilt lineup. Yeah.
Wake Forest came in with his team batting average of 308, had 130 bombs. Wind blew in. I think that changed a lot of things. We talked about it a bunch, but that was the factor for both. We've, I think, focused so much on the pitching because the pitching has had to do so much, and we have seen LSU come to this point. But, Jimmy, one of the narratives about this team all throughout the year, as at times pitching struggled, was the lack of arms. But you know this because you've covered this team forever. But one of the things Skip Ertman always used to say is by the time you get to Omaha, you're down to 6 arms usually, right? It's about what you're gonna lean on. You know, on a Tuesday night against McNeese, you might leave a guy out there to see how he handles a situation.
Oh.
You know what? Like
Jay Johnson replicates what Skip Ertman has done a long time ago. He expects to be hosting or being in postseason. He's going to. Heck, he did that in Birmingham.
Yeah,
I mean the A&M game. He would not have put that same pitcher in there in Omaha. There's no way. He's still experimenting that late in the season.
I think the point being, when you look at the guys, Skeens, Floyd, Hurd, Cooper, Ackenhausen, Guidry, and now I think you can throw Herring in that mix as well. That's 7 guys you trust. 7 guys that Jay Johnson has no problem giving the ball to.
Turn the page back a month.
Right, but I would say it's still a little different because you were still seeing innings from Christian Little. You were seeing innings from Bryce Collins. You were seeing innings from guys that you knew weren't going to be a factor. I guess my point is
his role identification. That's one of the terms that Chris used when he visited with us, and they were still doing that with Little starting with the Auburn game 3.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, so no,
that didn't go well.
Right, but so the role identification, and I think it was delayed, and it took more this year because you had an MLB pitching coach just do what he had done at the major league level. These are not major league developed arms, mature polish-wise. And you just got to flat out throw more fastballs and challenge the zone. And that's what they're doing now. And it took, and Chris kind of hinted at maybe there was a meeting and it just didn't flip all of a sudden. Yes, it was discussed because the base on balls were out of control.
Yeah.
And man, challenge. Let them hit it out the park. The walks. It's college baseball. Walks and errors usually lead up to those big crooked numbers. But this is, and you don't recruit at LSU a guy that just can't challenge at times.
Right.
And I mean, it's. I mean, this guy's been with the Twins organization, and that's one way to pitch it. But I think they altered things and say, hey, we're going to challenge the zone a lot more. And then you were able to see who can get away with challenging the zone and who could not.
I think LSU's got a longer lineup, 1 through 9. I think Langford and Caglione have struggled in this College World Series. You've got to keep that going. Limit the walks, keep the ball in the park. I'm with you. I think the wind's blowing out. The ball's going to fly both ways. But someone in this ball game is going to get a 3-run homer. If it's Handy mentioned Joe Bear. If it's LSU's guy that gets a 3-run homer and it's not Langford or Caglione, I think LSU's going to win this ball game behind Ty Floyd.
They're not going to run the bases. Yeah. They're not going to put hit and runs and a whole lot of stuff. Maybe deeper down in the lineup a little bit, first and second, nobody out. We'll see some bunt attempts. We've seen more bunt attempts.
None of that. No team in Omaha has bunted the ball well at all, especially
LSU. But we've seen more bunt attempts by LSU than normal because of the way the park was playing.
No doubt.
I think that's less. I mean, everybody could see the flags in center field.
Game 1 is a little more than 30 minutes away. Chris Blair, Doug Thompson, and the LSU Sports Radio Network. Those guys are coming up here in a mere matter of minutes. Grant Lanero, Taylor Sharp, for Jimmy Ott, I'm Matt Moscona. Game 1 is coming up. Go Tigers. We'll see you tomorrow.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.